Hello everyone and welcome back to Koof Gaming. The season is over and we were left with a very interesting little teaser for the next expansion of Guild Wars 2. And so I thought I would give my reaction and some insight on my prediction, I guess just like some of my thoughts that are whizzing around in my head and some comments I have on certain imagery that we are presented with in this trailer. This is going to be very impromptu. I just wanted to talk, so I thought I might as well. I apologize for the format of the actual replaying of the video. I have merely captured it and am replaying it on my own computer to do frame by frames if necessary. So let's get started. The very first thing we end up seeing, and I've the teaser expansion number 1, that's just my own personal catalog. However many teasers there are, I will be cataloging them and keeping them for my own personal obsession. So without further ado, let's jump right in to the very first couple frames. So we start out with the Eye of Janthier, which is very fitting considering the very last moments of the thing. It's like, it was really a great way to end this episode. One Path ends with the dissolving Eye of Janthier, and plus if you played the 4th raid wing, you'll be more familiar with the Eye of Janthier. It was a common thing in that raid, so seeing it in the final episode was interesting to me. I was not expecting to see the Eye of Janthier. That was just a side comment on the episode as a whole, which I will do a more in-depth review of the episode, and in fact, the entirety of Living World Season 3 in another video. So we're moving along. So we see the Eye of Janthier, and immediately the very first shot we get is some glimmering shine, some prisms in a hexagonal, I don't know what shape it is, but it was some shimmering going on, and as it slowly, as it zooms out, we get to see the face of what appears to be a dragon, or perhaps, in my opinion, more of a champion dragon. I don't think it's going to be Krokatoric. And Krokatoric, if you don't know, I say Krokatoric because it has been revealed that we're going to the Crystal Desert, and that is where Krokatoric lies. You probably already know that. But I don't think this is actually Krokatoric. ArenaNet has been infamously, or is infamous, of presenting their Elder Dragons in trailers. They did it with the Zaitan, or at least the early concept of Zaitan, and for my own personal belief, the early version of Mordramoth with the expansion release trailer. I don't think that they are showing Krokatoric in the teaser trailer just for the Living World Season 3 ending. I don't think that's what we're seeing here. I think it's merely a champion of Krokatoric, or possibly Primordus, but I don't think it's Primordus because Primordus was asleep. I know a lot of people have been saying there's fire, and if we move a couple frames ahead, there's some burning, which I just think is imagery stating that Balthazar's presence is slowly marching upon the Crystal Desert and messing with Krokatoric and his minions. The imagery with the eye, I don't know if it's a nod back to the Eye of Janthier, like dissolving, or if it's just more imagery with like dragons in general. Because we had like the eye motif with Mordramoth. Will we have the eye motif with Krokatoric and Balthazar? Possibly. There's a lot of eyes in Guild Wars 2. I just noticed that. So we're going to move along here. I actually think that this dragon, perhaps, or it might be the dragon we see in the next frame, which, if we move just ever slightly along, more fire, more burning, no, more fire, I'm gonna get here, and it gets enveloped in flames. This dragon that we see here, I'm gonna move a couple frames ahead, no, it's too far. I believe that this is the dragon we were shown previously in the frames, or in the couple of frames beforehand. A lot of people have been saying it looks a lot like Primordus, and it's very burned and primordial. I have an explanation for it, or at least my own personal explanation. I believe that this, in fact, is a champion of the crystal dragon Krakatorg, especially with the crystals on the back of his head. Those are not flames. They have much more shape, and they're not moving throughout these next couple frames. I understand like the Primordus part, but I believe that it is the champion, or this specific dragon, being attacked by Balthazar's fire and or Balthazar's mercenaries' fires. So I don't think this is Primordus at all. It wouldn't make sense to me if it was Primordus. I've been seeing that, and we get some like purple. I found this frame, and it was kind of nice. It is really irrelevant, but there's like purple outlining on the shards. It's a quick one frame, but it was just nice to look at, you know, find the deeper meaning. English. We see here, if I can move forward a little bit, we see here this dragon gets struck in the head. He's gonna need some relief. He got struck with the giant spear. It could be a spear. It could possibly be just raw god magic. I don't know. We don't know the extent of what Balthazar can do right now. We get a wider shot of his body and some more flames, and then we slowly zoom out to see Balthazar's, or what I presume to be Balthazar's gang, you know, doing its dirty work, and it's surrounded by flames as well. I respond to this image as these people are attacking this dragon, and they could be possibly rallying behind Balthazar. It could always be a possibility. That's all I have to say about that part. So we're gonna pan back a little bit more. Got a wider shot of the dragon. We're slowly moving backwards, and we see these two figures. If I'm gonna move back, we'll talk about the shot next. But we see these two figures. I don't know if they're gonna have any relevance in the story in the next expansion. They could set up where Balthazar has somehow organized a government, not a government system, but a hierarchy of people, like the chiefs, commanders, sergeants, the troops, the pawns. Could possibly be a thing that Balthazar might need some order. He might need to gather more troops, and with a larger army, he needs people to command them. And I've also noticed that there are multiple spears lodged in this dragon. It's not just the head. It's like right where his wing connects to his main part of his body. I think there's one even in his wing. Overall, this dragon is not looking too good, and it looks like it's about to explode, which dragons seem to love doing in the Guild Wars universe. We go to the next frames, a couple frames of a city, or what I interpret to be a city, on fire. Yes, it's on fire. Very in line with the Balthazar motif and his devastating magic. Pyramids in Guild Wars 2. We have yet to see pyramids in Guild Wars 2, if I recall correctly. I personally haven't seen any. But so we're probably going to see more pyramids in the next expansion. Very fitting with the setting being a desert. Pyramids, Egyptian, all that stuff. Nice. We also see these two, I'm not sure, the little sculptures, statues. Are those birds? I can't really make out what they are, but my first impression of them were more bird-like creatures. My first interpretation of those birds, it reminded me of Ebonhawk, which Ebonhawk is very close to the Crystal Desert. In fact, there is a gate leading to the Crystal Desert in Ebonhawk. I don't think this is Ebonhawk being attacked, but it was just something I thought of. There's also a flag, or what appears to be a flag with some symbols on it. More swirling symbols on fire, right below one of the sculptures or statues. Move along. We move over to the next couple frames of a very ominous shot of Balthazar looking over the desert, which is currently going to hell, quite literally. I'm not sure if these are volcanic fissures popping up or if these are little towns on fire, but nonetheless, it's quite cool and does accurately show Balthazar's power. We're moving along. There's some red lightning, and then the next shot is very interesting to me. I have no idea what it means, but it's just cool to look at. We see this pyramid and it starts to crumble, or not crumble, it starts to be torn apart, but then it gravitates upward. It defies the laws of gravity and it's being shot upward. It's a better shot, and there's some people down below watching this happen. If that's their city, well, you're gonna have to find a new home. I hope you had some good insurance. I hope Crystal Desert insurance does not cost too much. So continuing with the shots, and we end with a very potent shot of Balthazar. At this point in the story, we don't know how much energy Balthazar has absorbed, and we're continuing on with more fires. He's looking back at us, his eyes flare up, might need some eye drops. That's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician. But for me personally, I don't know, or just for the Guild Wars 2 community, we don't know how much power Balthazar has absorbed. We know he absorbed the Bloodstone. He got more power from Primordus. He might be at full potential, or he might be closer to gaining his full power, his full strength as a god. I'm not sure, but it'd be very interesting to explore how far his power will go and to what extent he will use it. And that is all I had to say about that video on face value. I'm just gonna wrap up my thoughts in this section. Overall, I thought this teaser was very tastefully done, gave us just enough to be very satisfying, in my opinion. Just as a clarification, everything I'm saying is, of course, in my own opinion. I personally really did enjoy this. Some of my friends were a little indifferent. They didn't hate it, but they were like, ugh, too short. But we are getting more news and possibly an even better trailer in a couple days. So I thought as a teaser, this served very well. One point I would like to bring up is the whole vision in itself. I've heard some people saying it's a prophecy. I heard some people saying that it already happened. Personally speaking, as a story device, I would rather this vision already happen to give us a little bit more momentum into the story and give us a bit more urgency. Because if it's a prophecy, yes, things are still at stake. You know, we have to prevent something. But if this already happened, it gives us even a greater sense of urgency and even a greater sense of Balthazar's power. So if ArenaNet is to take this in the direction that it is a prophecy, I think it will be fine if they write the story correctly. But I would rather this vision to have already happened. Another point is, a point I made a bit earlier in this video, is that Balthazar will probably need to have ranks of different people if he has a larger army. He can't command them all, logically speaking, and as a strategy and tactically speaking, he shouldn't command each and every person. So speaking as just a term of expansion perks and expansion girth in the material in the expansion, I would like to explore possible generals of Balthazar, people of higher ranks who Balthazar trusts, who are the right-hand man or woman, menses, its, Char, Silvaria, Sura, whatever you please. But I would think that would be a great thing to explore, especially with Morjamoth having Diarmid, Axemaster, and Stave Master Adrian. I forgot Axemaster's name. I apologize. But those were pretty much limited to meta events, and there was only a portion of the story with the Stave Master in the Itzel camp. And I would love to explore more instances where you can get scripted dialogue with these characters if he has it. This is not confirmed at all, just by the way. But this is just something that's been whizzing around in my head. So I think that'd be really cool. Another interesting plot hole that we could go down is the relationship between the one and only Kralkatorrik and our precious little kawaii Aurene. She's adorable. We must protect. I can't believe I just said that. Oh my god. But that would be very interesting. I would love to see if Aurene happens to come along in this expansion, which I don't know why she couldn't. She does seem to be growing fast in terms of power. So I think it'd be a great time to explore a Glint's history as well as Aurene. Maybe Aurene can get in contact with her mother through Ritlock. Who knows? Speaking of Ritlock, we have yet to get answers on the Revenant stuff. What are you doing, Ritlock? Get your ass in gear, please. Just for me and for the sanity of the Guild Wars 2. And that is all I have to say about this trailer, what's going on in my mind, and what my opinions and or predictions are about this expansion. It is very early on. We only have this trailer as well as the live stream, the official announcement coming on Tuesday, August 1st, which is only in a couple days, 4 days or so. I can't wait. I hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to hear your comments and what you have to think down below in the comments. Like if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video with a bunch more Guild Wars 2 content. Bye everyone.